Crystal Lake. The reason why that even became a topic was because there was a TikTok video that was asking, why do we need Crystal Lake? Just give us Jason killing people. If you go into this new Jason Universe initiative and you're just trying to redo what they did in the 80s, just fucking camp counselors, Jason kills them, rinse and repeat, you're only gonna get 1 or 2 movies out of it, and then nobody's gonna fucking care. You'll be back with Jason on the shelf for another decade, trying to figure out, like, where did we go wrong? Like, fucking Crystal Lake has a unique opportunity with a unique character like Pamela Voorhees to really show the overall relationship between her and her son, the bond. I think it was Never Hike in the Snow, like where it has Jason and his mother, like the Jason is seeing his mother and he kneels down and she pulls off his mask and it's kid Jason. And he's showing how much kid Jason, or Jason in general, loves his mother. Like that's your story. The focus was never on like, hey, let's get some stupendous tits out and just fucking cut people up. No, that is the cherry on top of the franchise. That's not what the franchise is about. So it's like, they're like, essentially like, we don't need it, just give us Jason and everything, which we're getting Jason. We're getting kid Jason. We're getting teenage Jason. We're getting adult Jason. We're getting all of them in season 1. But we need the foundation of Pamela Voorhees. Hasn't been explored. Keep in mind, Jason died in 1957. If you believe he drowned, he died in 1957. Pamela doesn't die till 1979. How many of those years of Pamela sabotaging the campgrounds, how many victims have she had that never were recorded, never were seen, or was just like seen as missing people? There's so much you can explore in Crystal Lake. Pamela is much more interesting of a character than Jason is. If you believe, and they go about it, that Jason just came back after Pamela's death, Pamela's infinitely more interesting than Jason. Infinitely. Because Jason has no real story outside of wanting to be with his mother. Pamela has fucking 20 years of grief. What I feel like people are raging about, this the same people that's pretty much like, we didn't want Corey in Halloween Ends, or we didn't want Roy in Part 5 and shit like that. It's like, where do you go? Let's say we give you what you want, like this Crystal Lake series. Let's say we give you what you want. Camp counselors come to a camp and they get killed one by one. Then what? There's no story. It's just Jason killing people. Then what? Then what happens? Nothing happens. The show gets canceled because there's no narrative. It's just a collection of like fucking very gnarly kills. Like, guys, back on the shelf again. This isn't the 80s. It doesn't work like that anymore. If you're just doing a special effects fucking portfolio of like kills, that's not how you're going to sustain a TV show. What I'm hoping is what they do in Crystal Lake is it starts in like either the 80s or present day. Maybe post 84, so that way Jason is dead. Jason gets killed by Tommy and everything. You have that and everything, and people are going back to Crystal Lake. People are going back to Crystal Lake and they're telling campfire stories about the Voorhees family. Jason, starting with Pamela and then going over what happened with Jason, thinking that Jason is truly dead. And then after so many seasons, you pick up into that present day or wherever they put it at, and it goes from there. It fits the camp story narrative. It fucking gives us a narrator to narrate everything that they've heard for Pamela and Jason and everything. And then you can go from there with new shit. Like that's my hope. That's my hope of what they do with Crystal Lake. I'm hoping it's not necessarily going to be something going through, because I think they said it's about like 6 episodes, like 6 to 8 episodes total that they're going to get through. And it's just the 8 episodes retelling the first Friday the 13th. I don't want that. I need more explored with Pamela, and I like the campfire story because it's kind of has that you know, like basically in part 2 with Paul when he's telling the story about Jason, it's kind of like that. It gives that kind of vibe, and then you can go over and flesh out everything as you go on through the seasons. I don't know how many seasons you could do, but personally, I would keep everything 1 to 4 canon and retell that in the TV show. Whether you have to, you know, go 5 or 6 seasons, get Pamela's backstory, and then eventually move on to fucking killing Pamela and kicking off with Jason there and everything. Like maybe in season 2, maybe season 3, something like that. Like fucking, because Pamela's got 20 years of history with Crystal Lake. So I mean, that'd be fucking great. I don't want them to rush anything, because we already see Crazy Ralph is going to be, if you guys haven't been keeping up with Crystal Lake, we've seen Crazy Ralph and Pamela share a scene together. That's going to be interesting. That's going to be very interesting, which makes me think this isn't happening during the events of the first Friday the 13th. This isn't happening during that. And Ralph looks much younger, much younger than what he does in the first Friday the 13th. Could be just because the direction that they chose. I don't know. Like what I want from the first season is I want 1, Pamela and Jason coming to Crystal Lake. That's what I would want. I want Pamela and Jason coming to Crystal Lake. What leads up to his drowning? And then Pamela basically leading up to the 1957 murders. That's what I want. That's what I want from the first season. Like what leads up to the 1957 murders, and if there's any more kills that happen from that, because we have no idea like fucking how any of that takes place. We have no idea what leads to Jason's drowning. We assume that it's what Pamela had said, that the counselors weren't paying any attention and stuff like that. How she blames the counselors. We don't know that. We don't know any of that for certain. We have no fucking clue. We don't know over the course of years, from 1957 to 1958 when the murders happened, we don't know what drives Pamela to say fuck it and kill Barry and Claudette. We don't know that. We don't know if there's any other victims after that. We know there's sabotage at Camp Crystal Lake. There's so much we don't know over the course of that 20 years before Pamela eventually meets her end to Alice. And I think there's a lot of story there. There's definitely a lot of story there that you can definitely keep. Now, you can still hold the whole thing that did Jason drown? Yeah, I don't want to know. I don't want to know if Jason drowned or not. I don't want to know. I don't want to know. I don't want to know. Keep that legend, keep that part of the legend secret. Like fucking have it where he drowned. You can show the cops, the police that do the investigation and everything, not really give a shit, you know, because Pamela may have a reputation at that point in time, because you got to remember it's the 50s and shit. And if you watch Ed Gein, you know how they fucking treated women in that era. So like fucking who knows, especially single mothers and shit. So who the fuck knows? Who the fuck knows? Who the fuck knows? Like fucking, it's a very, very good possibility that the police don't give a fuck. So you can run with that. And then it drives Pamela even further crazy. Like fucking your whole focus should just be on one, Pamela and Jason's relationship, which I want them to show Pamela and Jason's relationship prior to his drowning. I want them to show those because that's very important to the overall foundation of Friday the 13th. That's very important. It's more important than any fucking kills. It's very important than any fucking hockey mask. The foundation of Pamela and Jason, it either works or the whole thing falls apart. That's another thing that could be explored in a TV show as well, that nobody fucking is even thinking of, the death curse aspect. Why are people saying that Crystal Lake has a death curse? Like, why? Jason drowns and 2 people get killed a year later. You gotta fucking have Pamela and Jason on screen together. You have to. You fucking have to. Get them on screen together. For the first time ever, fucking get Pamela and Jason on screen together and establish how much they love each other. So that way, when Jason gets ripped from his mother and she believes he's dead, whether he actually dies or not, you keep that ambiguous. But once they are separated, you show the impact that it has on Pamela. And if you watch the A24 film, bring her back, A24 is the studio to do it. I think that if they bring that same energy to Pamela, oh, it's gonna fucking cook. It's going to fucking cook so much.